Préparation du meeting en cours. Yes, yes, yes. Of course, of course, of course. Let's go. Setting up for the YouTube live. And here we are. Welcome, YouTube. Welcome, Clubhouse again. This is your host, Gabriel Julié. I hope that you are pumped and ready for today's episode, today's show of Marketing Commandos. It has been a long time. Each week, remember, each week, every Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I drop here and share with you the best current things I'm looking at marketing-wise. And this week is a bit of a special episode. Do you guys like special episodes? I do. I always love looking at the special episodes. And I'm going to share something a bit special with you guys today. So last week, I told you guys that I was going to the biggest conference about business, marketing, and sales in the world, which I did, GrowthCon 2022, and it was incredible. There is no other words, other ways to qualify that. Basically blown my mind away even more than last year. And last year blown my mind away more than last year, but you get the point. And I think next year is going to be even more excited. So if you guys are excited about that, make sure that you join me on this like conference, because if you guys are not going there, you are crazy. You're crazy. If you guys have business and you want to grow, you gotta go to GrowthCon. That's the thing. That's the thing you should go. But when I was in that conference, you know, my marketing mind was always turning and be like, oh, that's interesting. They're doing that thing. That works. I can talk about that. And one of the things that was refreshed to my mind was one strategy that I see not a lot of people are using, because some may think it's a dead heart. It's something that is not working anymore. But if you tweak it a little bit, you can apply it to today's age, today's marketing, and you can get some incredible value, incredible results. Now, to see that, I'm going to share you guys what I got for you. What's up, Shannon? Thanks for joining the call. Now, guys, let's get started with today's episode, the little no strategy that 10x businesses overnight. I'm going to share my screen. If you want to go on YouTube, Shannon, brother, if you prefer looking at visuals and looking at my pretty face, you can go on YouTube. No problem. But I'm not gonna be, you know, be mad to you if you don't want to see my pretty face. I'm cool with that. No problem. So anyway, enough of the small talk. The little known marketing strategy that 10x businesses overnight. Let's go. I'm going to present the thing, Shannon, and then at the end, if you want, you can jump on and ask some questions. But I gotta get rolling. I'm on a schedule, brother. I'm on a schedule. I got a lot of things to do and a lot of things to talk about. Now, quick introduction for those who, hey, don't know me maybe. My name is Gabriel Julié. I'm the founder of Julihey Media and Julihey Production, and my goal is to get my clients as many customers as they can possibly handle with little notes, revolutionary ways of doing marketing. So if you guys are excited about that, now you know who I am and what I do. Now, let's go right into the subject of today's episode, the little known strategy at 10x's business overnight. As I just told you guys, I went to GrowthCon recently, last week, and my marketing mind was always turning in the background, looking at all the ways, all the methods they were using to actually make sure everybody was paying attention, making what they wanted us to do, and actually, you know, bring a pretty good substantial amount of revenue at the end. I don't know how much they made, but I'm sure they made a ton, and they're still making because they're still running the campaigns. But anyway, the point that I wanted to emphasize on here is that I spotted something that I see a lot of people talking about, but do not really understand the power of. And I'm going to share with you that strategy later. But the thing is, yeah, I'm always being exposed to that strategy. It's been camouflage, you know, it's the thing that everybody is doing in some kind of a way, but nobody's paying attention to that. And they think, oh, it's the Facebook ads, or it's the landing pages, or it's the sales message. Well, all of those, they work together, but they are not using that as their core strategy. And that core strategy, everybody's missing it. And I'm just waiting here to bring it to the table, because I see that a lot of you guys can actually get some value from that. Remember that I do this show every Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Your French guy Gabriel is doing that every single Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Whatever happened, GrowthCon, freaking like hurricane, I don't know. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. So make sure that you subscribe. If you want to go on the YouTube channel and click subscribe, that's going to be great because you can see my face, have access to the replay and actually see, okay, the presentation I got for you. So you can follow me along what I'm presenting. So I'm going to get started with today's episode, guys, with the first section, the best way to grow your business online. Now, guys, something that you got to understand is that there are multiple ways, multiple things that you can do and multiple strategies that you can use and you can go about. But I've always been looking for the one that works the most. And the thing is, that's been a journey that I think I've been in that journey for 4 years now, more than 4 years. Whenever I started to, start to understand, okay, what is the service? What is the thing? Is it Facebook ads? Is it Google ads? Is it SEO? Landing pages? I didn't even know all of those ways, but I was willing to learn, okay, what is the best way for me to actually deliver some value to my customers? And I was looking for that one thing for a long time. And that's the thing, guys. You got to understand that there is no single best way to do things, especially in marketing. There is no single best way to do things. But what you got to understand is that you got to focus on one first, pick one that's proven to work, because a lot of different strategies are working. And that's something that I took a long time to actually understand, because all those gurus, all those guys that are selling their programs, that like everything is crap. My thing is the best. But the problem is that when you hear sales messages like that over and over again, well, you don't even know what is working or what is not. But the thing is, a lot of things are actually working. Pretty much all the ways that I can share with you, Facebook ads, landing page, all those things like that, they work at a certain, if you use them a certain way. But the thing is that you got to take a strategy, you got to use it, and you got to make it work for you. And that's exactly the same thing that's happening on social media as well. People are like, hey, should I go on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Clubhouse, TikTok? I don't know, new way, metaverse, I don't know. But they are looking for the one thing. The problem is that that's a way for you to procrastinate. That's a way for you to actually not do the work. Because deep inside, and maybe you think you don't know, but I'm sure you do. You know deep inside that, hey, everything you can make work, you can make everything work. You just gotta make it work. That's the thing. So pick one, and that's my first advice. Focus on 1 to 2 max, and then expand. But the key is, guys, we always have to keep in mind when you are doing this strategy to be omnipresent. So what does that mean? Because, hey, Gabriel, you're telling me to be omnipresent, but to only pick 1 or 2 platforms. What's happening? Omnipresent should be on all platforms, right? Yes. But the thing is, at the beginning, you got to understand the patterns to actually develop on one platform first, so you can understand then how to multiply and grow the other ones. Because there are some strategies, things that you can apply on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. If you know how to get attention, if you know how to grab somebody into their story and into your story and actually sell them something, convince them, and you know how to create great offers. If you are able to do that, well, that process you can carry it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever the platform is going to be. You are going to be able to do that. But first, you got to have enough time to focus and understand patterns. That's why I advise you to focus on one platform first, 1 to 2. And in order to grow fast with that, because then you got to have some systems that do not prevent you to actually grow faster than you could. The thing that you guys should have from the get-go is actually having a scalable strategy, meaning that whenever you are starting to publish on certain platform, let's say for me, I really love YouTube, podcast, Clubhouse. Those are the 3 things I do, and I kind of cheat because I'm doing 3, but hey, Clubhouse isn't taking any energy from me now. I'm just having the podcast room right here, and it's kind of doing a podcast on the backside, live podcast pretty much. And that's one of the ways I like to do things. And I'm focusing on those mainly. I also have, Instagram, all those things, but the main one I'm focusing on are YouTube and podcast. Now, those are my choices, and you gotta see what works for you the best. Maybe you test out a bit, maybe you decide you have certain affinities with doing videos, audio, or written, and then you choose a platform that you want to focus on. The thing is, from the get-go, you gotta have a scalable strategy, meaning that, okay, right now I'm having content posted on YouTube, But the thing is, I created my content in some kind of a way that I can actually decompose it into little pieces that I can post on other platforms. And whatever happens, if one day I'm like, okay, I'm going to solely focus on YouTube, which is the thing I'm doing now, I'm solely focusing on posting content on YouTube, posting a bit of content aside, but not being as aggressive as I was a few months ago. Well, I still have the possibility, if I want to put some time into it, I still have a model that actually permits me to go on all the platforms as well and actually expand that there as well. Because if you have a process that's only made for YouTube, only made for podcasts, only made for blogs, the problem is that you're going to have some troubles to actually scale on other platforms. Then another thing, whenever you get big enough, like I'm talking big, whenever you're having a team that can actually focus on making the exact works that you need to do, the exact parameters that you should have in each platforms, like having a team solely focused on YouTube and making content that's specifically made for YouTube, like great content on YouTube. Then you can actually go into like, okay, I've got a strategy for YouTube, I've got a strategy specifically for blog, I've got a strategy for TikTok specifically, but that's something that, and trust me, I tried to do alone, and that's pretty hard and pretty time consuming. So what I would advise you guys to do is, okay, take one or two, have a scalable strategy so you can actually test out the waters a bit, see, okay, which platform is working for you, with the goal of being omnipresent on those, because the ultimate goal of social media in general is to be omnipresent, to make sure that your brand, your name is everywhere in your industry, so you can grab attention, you can sell, and you can create offers that actually grab people to you, and you can put your competition out of the door. That's basically the principles, but you got to be willing to expand to those new territories. But for that, you got to understand the first principles that I just shared with you. Focus on one, understand the basis and the foundations, the strategies that you can take on all the platforms, start to understand those. Then whenever you have an idea of how it works, you experiment with all the platforms. To do that more easily, you can have a scalable strategy from the get-go that's already planned and that you can simply replicate on other platforms as well. Then you test out what is working, and your ultimate goal from the get-go as well, is to be omnipresent on all those platforms and in your customer's mind. That's the ultimate place you want to be present at. Now, guys, if you guys like what I just shared with you, make sure to share the stream, ping somebody to the room, because we're not finished. That's just the first section of today's episode. What, Gabriel? And by the way, stay until the end, because I've got something really special today. I've got something, usually I like to share some, some principles, some strategies that you guys can implement. Right now, at the end of this episode, I'm actually going to share with you a script to get on other people's stages. And if you guys actually know a bit where I'm going with that, you know, or at least you should know, if you don't, that it is extremely important and that you guys should stay until the end. So stay until the end, because I got some drop value bomb at the end. I'm going to go into some Q&As, frequently asked questions that I see a lot of people asking me, and I'm going to answer those right now. Now, what is the best way to grow a business online fast? Well, I can be like I would say total unprofessional person and tell you, oh, this is that. But the truth is, you got to test out things. You got to make sure that you understand strategies, principle first, are always working, know how to grab attention, know how to sell, and know how to create great offers. And then whenever you know how to do that, you can use pretty much all the platforms that you want and, adapt it on that platform. But you have a lot of things to test out. And oftentimes it's the best way to make it work is to combine multiple of them. So you got online ads, you got landing pages, you got websites, you got social media, content creation on social media, you got organic growth, paid growth, you've got courses. I've got Thomas, my man, Thomas Jenkins, working with courses right here, challenges, mentorships, all those things like that. You got multiple ways to do that. You got to understand, okay, which one is working on my market, focus on that, understand the principles, and then expand with those principles on other platforms fast. Now, second question. Let me share my screen really quick so you guys can see it. How should I run my Facebook ads? How should I run them? Well, one of the things that I would advise you to run your Facebook ads correctly is actually, that's an approach that I see a lot of people are doing. They're just running like, okay, popping one ad, like, okay, I've run my ad, and they just have one campaign with one ad set and one like one ad, one creative. And they're like, oh, okay, cool, I'm running Facebook ads. Well, that's not the best way to do it. The best thing to do whenever you are doing some ads or some landing pages or whatever you are doing with your marketing campaigns is to always test out different variables, because maybe the one, and actually 99% of the time, you're not going to have the best performing ad with just the one you created. You got to create more variables, so you can see, okay, what is the thing that people are actually responding to. So what I would advise you is to create not like one Facebook ad, but create like 20, 50 with different headlines, different text, different descriptions, captions, images, videos, maybe the first few seconds of the video, maybe different lengths of the video. You've got tons of variables you can play out with, but you got to understand that you got to test out different variables on those Facebook campaigns, so you can actually see, okay, which one are working. I'm going to kill the one that don't, and I'm going to just focus all the budget on the ones that are working. And then you can basically be like, okay, this works. I know that this kind of headline works, this kind of text works, and those images kind of work usually. Now I'm just going to focus more and more on doing things similar to that. And then you test further and further, and you see exactly, you refine to have the best performing ads possible. That's my number one tip of Facebook ads. Question number 3. What platform should I focus on? Now, again, you got to understand what works for you. But if I advise you to find a way to pick one, I would advise you to look at yourself, be self-aware, and be honest with yourself. Are you okay with being on camera, with video? Are you good at just simply talking? Maybe you don't like video too much, but talking to a mic, no problem. You're pretty good at, you have a radio voice. Or maybe you are none of those types and you are just somebody that likes to write. You are good at writing, and you just have to find ways that you can turn those platforms into your advantage. For example, and that's something that, and some people will be like, oh, I'm not going to pick, even though I'm good at, at blogging, I'm not going to pick blogging because I can only blog. No, you can turn all the platforms using like different ways. For example, let's say you have an Instagram account, you can only post quotes or graphs, things like that. You do not need to show your face to talk or anything like that. You can do that. Or maybe YouTube videos. You can even do YouTube videos without you actually talking. You can pretty much put some text, and there are some, like, how do you say that, translated, like automatic robot voices that are pretty good, and you can do some, I'm sure you've seen those videos, those doodle videos. Those guys, I'm not even sure they actually talk, the people that make the channel. So you can find ways, be creative to make it work the best for you. Now, I would advise you to actually learn the other skills. So for example, if you are not really good at talking to the camera, I believe that's something that you should learn how to do, because that creates a lot of other skills that are really important. But at the beginning, if you should focus on one to make sure you can perform the best and see the best results really fast, I would advise you to pick the one you're most comfortable with, and then pretty much turn all the other platforms to your advantage and find ways you can create content so it can resonate with your audience, and you can make sure it works for you as well. Now, I'm going to go to the next sections, which is really, really important. It's about the 3 mistakes to avoid when going on other people's stages. As I just talked to you guys about, I'm going to share with you a script to actually go on other people's stages that I actually read. I think it was a year ago. I got that script a year ago, but I wasn't using it since now, and it's so powerful. I didn't realize the power. That's like a lot of things, you get some programs, you buy some courses, and then you realize, man, I've got a ton of gold that I'm not using. And then I felt bad, so I went back to it. And now I'm going to share with you first the 3 mistakes to avoid when you are going on those stages, because I can give you the perfect script. I can give you the perfect framework to actually go on there. But the problem is that if you do those mistakes, you're not going to see results. Now, let me go with mistake number 1. Going on stage to only promote your offer. That's a big mistake, because if you go on there just to be like, cool, I'm on somebody else's stages, I'm just going to promote my offer, I'm just going to be like, this is my shit, and I don't care about your face, man. And you're going to get bad responses with that. But also, the opposite is true as well. If you go on stage to only give value, that's a big mistake as well, because if you're just like, okay, I'm sharing cool things, but you do not ask for the sale at the end, you didn't listen to me, you didn't make your job correctly. Why is that, Gabriel? Like, didn't I share some value? People are going to implement it. Well, that's one of the biggest problems with making content and things like that. People actually, there is the thing of investing in a program, paying for something. Do you guys remember the last time you paid for something that you actually did it? And I see that in events all the time. GrowthCon, for example. GrowthCon. At some time, Grant Cardone, the guy who was hosting the conference, mentioned one thing, and it always proves to me that investing, the power of investing money, time, and energy, resources into something, make you pay attention. He pointed at a place in the room, and he was like, you know, those places, and it was pretty much empty. Those places were given away, and I'm not going to do that ever again. And there was nobody there. Why? But all the guys that are paying like, you know, 20,000 for a ticket or things like that, they pretty much each and every one of them shows up. I remember there is a story of a guy that had like his leg broken and he still went in the conference. Like, you know, because people pay, they invest into something. So if you're only sharing value, people don't have anything invested in you yet. So they don't pay attention. They don't really take care of making sure they use everything you're saying. They do everything you're saying. So this is extremely important that you actually make an offer, because that's going to create that investment piece that you can, so that you can make sure that the people that are listening actually apply the knowledge. So there is a dichotomy here. A dichotomy means that this is like not the two extremes. You got to make sure you pick the right in the middle. So you got to share extreme value and also share an extremely good offer. But there is a third mistake, as I just talked to you guys about. And this third mistake is to, whenever you did that correctly, not capturing their information. And I'm big on that. Meaning that, okay, now you sold them something, you went them, you close on them, you share some incredible value, you pay incredible. That's awesome. But you got to make sure that whenever you went on that other people stage, you need to make sure that those guys, you capture the informations, emails, addresses, names, phone numbers, all those informations, all those pieces of information, capture them, get them. Why is that? Because today, right now, you're having access to this stage. The next day, you don't. How can you keep being connected? Because we know that you have to follow up with those leads if you want to make sure they take action. The first time you're going to see them is not the time for sure they're going to take action with you, actually to do something with you. So you got to follow up with them. But how do you keep being in contact with them if you cannot like go every day on that guy's stage to stay in contact with them? You guys get me? So one of the things that you got to do is find a way so you can grab as many of those information as possible. So you got to be creative. Lead magnets, free webinars, whatever is the method that you choose, summit, for example, whatever is the method that you choose to have and to do, you always have to make sure that you capture all the traffic, all the eyeballs, basically all the eyeballs that are seeing you. Your number one goal when they are seeing you is, okay, attention, they see me, now I got to capture the information so I can still talk to them directly. That's your first. The first thing that you should do. But there is also a bonus tip, because you know that I like to show you guys some bonus tips. And I'm going to show you that bonus tips right now. Dig your well before you're thirsty. I learned that from Russell Brunson, meaning that, and that's a great lesson for life too, but by staying in all the people stages, what that means is that, you know, let's say you have a launch coming in, you're launching a new book in 2 weeks. Now is not the time to actually go and find other people, build relationships and get on their stages. No. Build those relationships way before you are doing that. Way before, so that whenever you need them, you actually have them. Because that's a big mistake that I see. People do launches that are way too short, and they are going really quick with their campaigns, and they don't have time to create substantial results and hype around the thing they are launching or the product they are doing, and it doesn't get any results. So whatever you are doing, report the time of the launch you are having. And if you are planning to have a launch and talk a launch of a product and to promote something, make sure that you build the relationships that are going to help you to promote that thing as soon as possible. As soon as possible. That's the honest answer. Did you guys like what I just shared with you? Now, guys, you were patient. You stayed until the end. Congratulations, you are ready to get the best I've got for you. Like, this is by far in every episode I made, the best of the best that I can share with you guys. If you take action and you use that script, copy and paste, it's simple as F. It's simple as F. You can use that and get on other people's stage today. That's the script I'm using daily to get on other people's podcasts. So make sure that you apply that. And I'm going to share that script with you right now. Just bear with me a second because I need to drink a bit. Now let's introduce the subject for our friends on YouTube so they can see what we are going to talk about. My proven method to get in front of thousands of your dream customers. I've been looking for a way to do that for a long time. And I've been asking myself, okay, what is that way that I can use for free, ideally, to actually, get in front of my dream customers? And I found out that way. And I had a reminder at GrowthCon. I was at GrowthCon last week, and I wanted to truly understand, okay, what is the thing that makes this conference so successful? And the guys that are going in that conference, the people that are presenting some things. And it all comes down to one thing, one concept. It's called other people's stages. And today I'm going to share with you a step-by-step process with a script that you can send to people so you can actually go on other people's stages. Now, why should you go on other people's stages, you may ask? For a simple reason, because they made all the work to gather the audience. They made all the work to gather the big audience that are talking about promoting their products. Paid a lot of money. Put a lot of time in it. But what you can do is that you can go in there and share your value, share what you got with that audience. So you can make sure you can help them. And that gives you eyeballs to your business and whatever you're promoting so that you can get some more revenue and impact some more lives. So guys, I'm going to share exactly with you the step-by-step process you should do in order to go on other people's stages. That's the way I'm going to use one platforms. It's going to be podcast, but you can use that for going on other people's YouTube channels, Instagram accounts, whatever is the platform you want to go. Masterminds, webinars, whatever it is, summits. Just use the same framework for others kind of stages. But in this example I'm sharing with you is going to be with podcasts. Now, number one, search for podcasts in your industry. So you look out for the podcast that you want to go in. Okay, you look at those podcasts and you listen to 1-2 episodes. You look, okay, because, we're going to outreach those people with a strategy that's really personalized to them. So if you're just like bombarding them with copy and paste messages, well, it's not going to work. We want to make sure that we get, because those relationships are valuable. Remember, one of those stages can bring you millions and millions of dollars. If you look at GrowthCon, and I think that's what happened, there was a guy, I don't remember the name of the guy. What was his name? Greg or something like that. I don't remember his name, but he was talking about the next health system, like a health system. Really great presentation, actually. And yeah, he crafted this presentation. He went on this stage, and it was like he made more than $1 million, like this. So each and every one of those stages, you got to pay attention to those because they can bring you a ton of money. Those collaborations are huge, so make sure that you value them. Now, listen to 1 or 2 episodes of them, and then you're going to send them this message. Guys, if you are on the Clubhouse right now, I would advise you to go and watch on YouTube. There's actually a link on the top of the room. You can actually see what I'm sharing on my screen, so you can have an idea of, okay, what does the script look like. I'm going to give that to you at the end of today's episode. So if you want to, if you want to get it, stay at the end of the episode. But if you want to read it and have it, maybe screenshot it, steal it from me, you can go on the YouTube channel. Now, let me read to you the script. Hello, name of the person. I wanted to reach out and introduce myself. By the way, this script, I got it from John Lee Dumas, the host of Entrepreneurs on Fire. One of the, I think, the best podcast for entrepreneurship. And he shared that script, and he was like, okay, man, I'm getting like thousands and thousands of invitations to, get on other people's podcasts. So actually for people to get on my podcast, and they are shit. And this is the way I would love somebody to actually reach out to me and talk to me if they wanted to be on my podcast. So here it is. And this comes from somebody that has the biggest podcast on the niche entrepreneurship. So this works. Let me tell you guys. Here is a script from the beginning. Hello, I wanted to reach out and introduce myself. My name is your name, Gabriel Julié, my situation, and I host the podcast Marketing Commandos. But put your podcast name in there. I'm very impressed with your show. I specifically enjoyed podcast number X. That's when, which podcast episode you watch from them comes into the play. When you talked about X, so you really show that you paid attention to what they did. I did notice you haven't talked about X. And I happen to be an expert on this topic. And here are some interviews I've done in the past. So here what you're doing is basically be like, okay, I really appreciate what you do. And you can also add this as a value add to your content. And that's really, really, really great because you actually show you're appreciating the content that they're publishing and you're giving them some value. Like, okay, how can I improve my podcast? Because they're looking to improve their podcast, their presentations. And if you have some value to add, well, they're always welcome to, present that to their audiences if it brings more value to them and ultimately bring them more sales. So you share with them a link of previous interviews you've done in the past. And oh, by the way, that's the rest of the script. And oh, by the way, my podcast Marketing Commandos talks about X. So you can tell that I'm pretty knowledgeable about this topic. And I would love to come on your show and share my knowledge with your amazing audience. As a fellow podcaster, I know coming up with a title and interview flow can be time consuming. So here is a sample title, How to X Without Why. That's a great sample title. So actually what you're doing here, I'm going to keep reading and I'm going to tell you what we're doing here. And here are a few bullet points we could use for the interview flow. And you're showing with them different steps things you can talk about in the interview. So that's something that's really important because for some people, they may be interested to get you on the show, but they're really busy and they don't want to take the time to actually craft another presentation. So you're making all the hard work for them, coming up with a great title and things they can talk about. So they're like, let's roll, man. You're giving me just a simple step-by-step. I just got to follow what you just talked about. Let's roll, man. Let's go. So you're facilitating the work for them. And you're sure that you understand their positions because, for myself, if somebody that's the thing, if somebody comes ask for my stage with that script, man, I'm like, man, why didn't you send me this message earlier, man? Like you're different. Now let's go with the rest of the script. Also, I know the importance of sharing this interview when it goes live. So if you are kind enough to select me, you can count on me to share the podcast with my entire audience when this interview is published, because that's pretty important. Maybe you have that interview that's coming up. And yeah, the guy was Gary Brecker. Yes. Thanks, Lee, for remembering me who this guy was. And yeah, so what's really important in that situation is that whenever you're posting a podcast, you got to make sure that people actually see it. That's pretty important. And so you're mentioning that, okay, you have an audience that you can share it with and that you can actually make sure it gets a lot of views. Also, I believe you would be a great fit for my show. And I would love for you to come on as a guest to introduce your expertise to my audience. So maybe you can do back-to-back interviews so you can actually get 2 podcast episodes. That's really interesting. We can schedule an hour session and record back-to-back interviews to make it an incredibly efficient process. So you're showing that it's really easy, it's going to be really fast, and you can get it done really fast. So you share the link with the person to actually book that call. Then, alternatively, please reply with your schedule link and I will happily find the time that works. I hope to hear from you soon. Your name, GJ, in my situation. P.S. I know the importance of writing the review for us podcasters. So I went ahead and gave your podcast a well-deserved 5-star review. You rock. And then you put a screenshot of you putting the 5-star review. Now that's really big. That's pretty important because, again, some people may be looking at it and be like, oh, Gabriel, it's pretty cool, but I only, I would like to do that with YouTube channels. Same thing here. I know the importance of having a lot of comments and views with your channel, so I actually made sure I share it on my Instagram page and leave your comments. And you put a screenshot of that, and they're gonna love it. You can refine that script to actually outreach to the platforms that you want. But the thing is, guys, it's always about making sure that you understand what they are doing, facilitating the work, and showing how you can be a value add to their show. Don't be like, hey, I want to go on your show. Why? Well, because I want to, be in front of your stage. But the thing is, you got to go sharing some value first. So that's the script, guys. But if you don't want to type it up, screenshot it and retype it up for yourself, that's fine, because I'm going to do something a bit special for you today. Guys, click this link, gabrieljulié.com/action plan. Go to gabrieljulié.com/action plan. On this action plan, I'm actually going to put the entire script that you can literally copy and paste, use it for yourself, maybe tweak it a little bit for your situation. But if you don't want to, really send back to what I just shared with you, type it up again, modify it, copy and paste it, and modify it from there, that's going to save you a lot of time. That's totally free. Steal it away from me. I'm authorizing you for now. So gabrieljulié.com/action plan. Guys, did you like what I just shared with you? Like, that's one thing that I love to share, things that you can actually take action right now and see some results. I'm so excited. Now, let's go and recap what we just talked about today to make sure we get all the information and all the things applied that we need to for our business and our personal lives. First, number one, have a scalable strategy. From the get-go, whatever is the platform that you are going to choose to use, always have something that you can expand to other platforms. Don't pick something, especially if you're a team of one, or maybe you have only a few employees, to actually focus on content creation or content marketing, especially. Focus on understanding what is a scalable strategy that I can apply on that platform that I can actually put on other platforms. Whenever you get that piece figured out, you can actually expand on other platforms. But first, focus on one so you can understand that principle. Number two, let me show you my screen so you can see it. Don't sell or only give value. Don't do either one of them. You got to find the perfect middle ground, the dichotomy. If you only sell, well, nobody's going to want to buy from you because you didn't share some value. But if you only share some value, well, nobody's going to buy from you because they felt like, okay, you were so nice to me and I'm just going to get out and apply what you did. But you perfectly know that if they don't live and they don't put an investment into your thing, they are not going to invest as much as they could with you and get as many results as possible. So make sure that you find the perfect middle ground, the dichotomy between the two. And third thing that we can remember, getting on other people's stages is the fastest way to grow your business, or at least one of the fastest. And that's extremely important to understand. People spend a ton of time to build up their channels, whatever is a channel, YouTube accounts, Instagrams, conferences, things like that. They already took the time to gather an audience, and they are looking for some great people to talk with and to actually share some value with their audiences. They are looking for you. The thing is, you got to understand how to actually reach out to them. And that's why I actually made a script. I actually created a script to actually reach out to anybody's stages. And you can copy and paste it and use it for your own situation. To do that, get it for free. Check out the Commandos Weekly Action Plan for this week, gabrieljulié.com/action plan. Get it quick though, because hey, by the end of next week, it's going to be gone. So get it now. Add some urgency. Get it now until it's gone forever. It was Gabriel Julié, my friends. I hope that you had a great time. Remember, we do the Marketing Commandos Show every Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. No, on the other side, on YouTube and on Clubhouse Room Marketing Commandos. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and I see you on the next episode.